Hello learners. In this lecture we will see what all are the career opportunities that we have. This is especially for the Indian students and what all government opportunities you have. We'll try to see that. Yeah. So to begin with, coming to the government jobs. So in the government jobs you can try for SSC JE, that is Staff Selection Commission. Every year they'll be conducting an exam as a JE for junior engineer, and if you clear that exam there will be around 3 rounds: the preliminary round, then the mains exam, and then the interview, and then the document verification. I think they have stopped the interview now, they are just document verification. So once you clear that exam you'll be getting a good salary around 40-50,000, and you'll be working in the CPWD department, that is Central Public Works Department, Military Engineering Service. Then you have BRO, that is Border Road Organizations. So it's a very good job and reputed job in the society. So but for that you need to study well, you need to clear this exam will be easy, but there is but the syllabus is very huge. You need to cover that. That's the first thing what you can do. After that, again you have another non-technical exam which SSC conducts, that is SSC Staff Selection Commission combined graduate level exam. If you clear that exam, here you have to learn English, aptitude and all. So if you clear that exam you get a job as an assistant commissioner in the tax department, in the custom department. And even here the salary is very good, like 45-50,000. And even it's easy to clear the exam, but you need to be good in aptitude and English and all should be good. Yeah. Then we have state government exams. So when I say state government exams, let us say UPPSC, Uttar Pradesh Public Service Commission. Then we have Madhya Pradesh Service Commission. Then we have Karnataka Public Service Commission. Then we have Bihar Public Service Commission. So every year or once in twice year these people will be conducting the exams, and it will be related to your engineering domain, civil engineering. And if you clear the exams you'll be getting a job as an assistant engineer or assistant executive engineer, and you'll be posted in the PWD department, in the water resource department, like in the irrigation department and all. And you'll be getting a good salary as well, based on the state to state, like 50, 60, 70, 75,000. And you get all the benefits of the government. So this is also another opportunity what you can try. Then after that you can try for the UPSC exams, that is Union Public Service Commission. One, if you want to move in the technical department only, then you can try for IES. I mean, you can try for Engineering Service Examination, and once you clear the Engineering Service Examination, you become a IES officer. Based on your rank, they are going to post you in the CPWD department, in the National Highway Authority of India. There are many other things. So you'll be getting a good job and a good respect in the society. But if you want to move into the administration department, then you can clear the Civil Service Examination, where you can become a IAS officer, where you can become a Indian Forest Service or Indian Revenue Service. Then you will have a very lavish life. There is a respect in the society, right? So it's a very, but again, cracking this exam is not a very easy task. You need to spend a lot of time in studying all those things. Other than that, if you don't want to move in the very same field of civil engineering, you can try to give some bank exams, like IBPS is a board which conducts the exam every year. So you can give that exam, and if you clear the exam you'll be posted as an assistant manager or a trainee person in the bank. And also you'll be getting a good handsome salary of 35-40,000. And it's a very good job, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 job. So you don't have to go actually in the civil engineering department, civil engineering field only. If you're not that passionate enough and all, you can even try it with this also. Then you can become a government valuer in the LIC also. Sometimes LIC department also conducts the exam for the civil engineer, because they want some valuers and all, right? For the estimation and all that also you can try. Other than that, then we have gate exams. So right now let us say you are studying your engineering, and in the fourth year of engineering you can give the gate exams. And if you get a good rank, see, passing the gate exam will not help you. You should get good rank around one, within 1000 and all, or within 1500. Then you can apply for some public sector units like ONGC, IOCL, rights, Airport Authority of India. And there are many other Maharatnas and Mini Ratna companies and all. HP is another one. Okay, so you'll be getting a very good job. Minimum you'll be getting 80, 90,000 as your salary, and also the work culture and everything will be good there. But again, it requires a lot of your effort. You should study well in those things. And after that, if you don't want to do all these things, if you feel like you want to study again, then you can always go for master's degree. Always master's degree from IIT and NIT is good. If you don't get from there also, it's not a issue. It's not that people only those who get IITs and NITs will be successful. There's nothing like that. Okay, so if you get IITs, it's well and good. If not, doesn't matter. So otherwise you can apply for MS also, Master of Science in abroad. There are few if you get a very good marks in the gate exam, there are few colleges which offer the scholarships and all. Like we have University of Singapore. If you have a very good score in the gate marks, then there you can apply in the University of Singapore. That is also a very good college. Okay, so otherwise in terms of master's degree, you can try for structural engineering, which is always a good thing. Also you can try for geotechnical engineering. Or if you don't want to get into the designing field, and if you want to get into the construction field, like you want to become a planning engineer and you want to make your career in the construction field only, you can even try for the construction management, that is masters in construction management. But always my advice is that if you want to do your masters in construction management, you should work at least for 1 year, and after working for 1 year you try to go for masters. Because unless and until you don't work in the site, you don't understand the construction methodologies, how the works are executed. This construction management is, again, it becomes more of theory related, so you will not understand. Again you will become like a fresher only. So if even if you want to do masters in structural engineering, then also it's always better you work for a site at least for 3 4 5 6 months, and then you try to get into this master studies, so that you get a practical knowledge, and along with that you will find interest in doing your masters. Otherwise it becomes again the same thing, the same theory things, what we have studied in the BTech, that will be carried again. Again, if you want to get into the teaching field, that is also a very good teaching field. You have to do your BTech, then you can do your masters, and once you're done with your masters, you can apply in any of the engineering colleges. You get a teaching post. But nowadays, what has happened? Most of the colleges, even they ask people those have PhD degree. So soon after doing masters, again you have to enroll for the PhD. So PhD is going to take you another 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years, depending on the guide and depending on the way you put your efforts. So again, 3 to 5 years you have to spend. In that, you can do part time as well as full time. Full time is always good. There you get a stipend of around 35,000 per month from a government of India. And also one side you'll be teaching BTech people, on the other side you'll be doing your masters, other side you'll be doing your PhD thesis. So it's always a good thing, you can do that also. And once you're done with the PhD, and if you apply in a very good NITs or normal colleges, you get around 50 60,000 of the salary. And always a good job, if you love, if you have a passion for teaching, 9 to 5 you can do a job, you get around 50 60,000 salary if you have a PhD, I'm telling. Okay, it's very good. If you have interest in research and all, you can do that, right? But whatever I told so far, it's not that just by reading you're going to clear all these exams. So all this requires your practice. You have to put a lot of practice, because clearing a government exam is not that you should finish you study everything and you clear the exam. That's not going to happen within a short time. So it requires a lot of practice. Patience also is required, and your time and efforts, everything is required. So minimum 1 or 2 year you have to devote yourself for all these things. So surely you're going to get success in any of the government exam, because there are a lot of exams coming. Only the thing is you need to study, you need to have patience, and surely one or the other thing you're going to clear. So if there is someone who is taking up my course, and if there is someone who is in the third year of engineering, okay, you can plan for all these things in the third year and the final year. You try to devote yourself for studying all these technical things, all your BTech subjects. Try to learn general studies and all. So surely within 1 or 2 year you're going to get a very good job, a very good government job with the kind of effort that you're putting, right? So these things I wanted to tell, that this are a career, this is especially from Indian point of view. Okay, and also along with that I want to tell one more thing. In the previous lecture I told you there are a lot of career opportunities and all. So one thing you need to understand, whenever you try, these are the okay whenever you try to apply for any jobs, no one is interested to see how much marks you have got. Let me write it here, text. Yeah, no one is interested to see your marks. Okay, first thing, no one wants certificate, no one wants certificate. Let us say if you feel like by enrolling in some of the courses, and if I get a certificate, then people will give me a job. That is not going to happen. No one is interested to see your certificate. Let us say you're applying for a job of an AutoCAD draftsman, and if you feel that you have a Autodesk certified certificate, you are going to get a job. That is total nonsense. Because if you apply for AutoCAD draftsman job, when you go to the company for the interview, he is going to give you a plan, and he is going to give you a system, and he'll ask you to do that plan. So he's going to give a time of, let us say, 30 or 40 minutes. Within that, if you finish that time, that means you have a good you know hands on this software, and definitely is going to give a job. So he's not interested in seeing your certificate. In the same way, if you try to apply a job as a structural engineer, whenever you go for the interview, they're going to give you questions. They're going to give you, let us say, to design a beam, to design a slab and all. So you have to do it manually, and they may give one or two plan and ask you to model that with the help of ETABS software. And if you know all those things, then they're not going to ask for your certificate. So if you go for the Revit job, whatever job you apply, and even if you go to the site job, you go for the interview, if you have a good understanding of civil engineering, if your basics are strong, if your fundamentals are good, people are going to hire you. No one is interested to see your marks. No one is interested to see your certificates. So this marks and all usually comes when the company come to your colleges saying that we did 70% marks and all. But once you get into any of the company, your marks card and everything is of no use. From that day itself, your experience is going to count. And as long as you have good technical knowledge and your experience, people are not concerned with what grades you have got and all those things, right? Yeah, this thing I wanted to tell. Yeah, now to begin with, see, this is one of a job description that I took from the naukri.com. Whenever you try to apply for the job, this is a kind of a job description that they're going to give. So we'll try to go through this one by one. Yeah, the first is that he has given that quality and quantity checking and preparation of all type of RA bills. So right, he's telling us he need a person, one who can do the quality and the quantity checking and preparation of all type of RA bills. So if you have taken my quantity estimation class, I hope with that course you can learn this quantity checking and all, and the quality I was taught in my construction methodology class. So with that course you can tackle this, whatever job description is given, you can do that. RA bills, I have given a basics of RA bills in this course, but once you start to work in the company, you'll be learning all these things, because you can't expect everything to learn by the end of 4 years of engineering. That's never possible. Life is all about learning, right? So at least basic understanding we need to have. Next is to verify the bill and keep a track on all those bills. This also comes under the billing department. The coordination with the site engineering and the accounts department to perform the field check of the sites as and when necessary. As I mentioned, you should be, if you're getting into the quality control department, then you should have a good understanding of all the lab tests that we do during our engineering days. And then we have this pre and post concrete checking, that is formwork, steel alignment, leveling, curing, arrangement. These things I have covered in my construction methodology class. You can get a basic understanding from there. Then again, preparation of BOQ is not a big issue. I've explained this in quantity estimation. Bar bending schedule also I've explained in my quantity estimation course. Rate analysis also explained in my quantity estimation class. To prepare the daily progress report, this is not explained, but it's a very simple thing to do. Then planning, coordination, quality of a work. So study of technical drawings. Study of technical drawings, there is a course of mine on learn to read architecture and structural drawings. There you can learn all those things. So, and also he has written here good knowledge of AutoCAD and Excel. You can see here, right? He has written good knowledge of Excel and AutoCAD. As I mentioned, you should be knowing AutoCAD and Excel. If not AutoCAD, at least Excel you should be knowing. So this is the kind of a job description they are giving, and nowhere they are going to mention that you should have 80% of the marks, you should have 70% of the marks, you should have that certificate, you should have this certificate. No one is interested. So you can see the job description here. Similarly, I'll show one more. Again, it's the same thing here. Okay. So these are the kind of job description that you get. And here also you can see prepare quantity estimate from the architectural drawing. Proficient plan reading skills are must, that you can learn from my courses, how to learn the plans and all. Developer, then what else? Desire to work in a team oriented, communicate ideas, take responsibility, ownership. Quantity estimation is always quantity estimation, bar bending schedule. And if you know to learn, if you know to read a architectural drawing and all, it's enough, you're going to get a job. Only thing is you need to practice that. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So the main intention was to make you aware that these are the opportunities that we have, and also to make you aware that you need to gain the skills. Only our college knowledge is only our college teaching is not going to help us. You have to develop that skills You should have that skills of how to understand the drawings, how to do the quantity estimation, how to do the planning and all, right? Yeah, I hope these things are clear. So we'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.